Hi folks, good morning. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the garden. It's been a little while since you guys saw this on film, and to be completely honest with you, it's been a long time since we did anything whatsoever in the garden. But with this weekend's lovely weather, we have finally ventured out and started doing a few things here and there, and we're starting to have some ideas. So I think I'll take you around, we'll have a little talk about the garden, and then we'll go to the allotment. I'll show you what's going on up there. There's a few little jobs I need to do and a few things to get started, and then maybe if there's time we'll do a bit of a chili seedling update as well. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so I know that this is a bit of a weird place to start, but I had to quickly talk about this because I spent, I don't know, the best part of like 2 or 3 hours fixing this lawnmower, which I'm just incredibly proud of. I finally got the lawn mowed, which hopefully you saw in that first shot, and unfortunately, I think I might be in danger of becoming a lawn guy. Every time I open the curtains in the morning and look out on the freshly mown lawn, I'm like, oh my God, that's really nice. Becoming a lawn guy is like the last thing I ever wanted. I mentioned in that early episode, they're really bad for biodiversity. They're just kind of naff, aren't they? But here I am, like an idiot, enjoying the lawn. So aside from spending hours and hours trying to get the lawnmower repaired and the engine running smoothly and finally doing the lawn, the main thing I've been occupied with is this, which is a massive bloody hole that I had to dig to try and get out some of these roses. You might remember the roses from the first garden episode, and I mean, we don't really like roses, they're not really for us, but the main issue is just that this path isn't the biggest, and the roses were completely overgrown right into it. There was a bit of a risk of losing your sight every time you walk along here, and this is one of the smallest bushes. So we're getting those out, which is quite hard work, and in doing so we've discovered that this path, which we were kind of hoping to take up because it's a bit horrible and ratty, is massive. It's really deep, it's really like thick and chunky, so it's not an easy one to remove. But let's have a look at what else is going on. Like I say, it's pretty much been left as is. The hot lips, am I meant to cut these back? I don't know, I should research it. The rest of the borders looking really sorry for themselves. This tree, I think, not doing too well. It is setting bud, which is nice, but absolutely no idea what it is still. It looks like some kind of fruit tree, so that'll be interesting to see. And the rest, like I say, it's just looking pretty sorry for itself. The tree, well, yeah, tree is still here. Basically, we've not been able to afford to get rid of it yet because it's a big old job and it's horrible. Over here, I think we've decided this is where we want our pond. I've always wanted a wildlife pond, and I think this is going to be a really nice location for it. It should get a decent amount of sun, and we can kind of plant up the borders to give it a little bit of shade as well, because it needs both of those things. It would be nice to have a really big one over this side. However, I think it would be in too much shade. It wouldn't get what it needed, and it would just be kind of a bit useless. So I think pond over here. For the rest of the garden, it's much the same. The borders are just overgrown, looking really sorry for themselves. So most of it's kind of getting demolished as I dig out the roses anyway. And there wasn't too much here, so I'm not too worried about it. I think we'll just cover this with pots for the time being, probably as a kind of temporary thing. So greenhouse plans. We have actually done quite a lot of thinking about this because I am so eager for it. I love the idea of having a greenhouse in the garden and just filling it with chili peppers. We did a little bit of kind of measuring out, and I realized that actually we could probably get away with quite a big one along this side. And I think we measured it out and we might be able to squeeze in a 16 by 10, which would just be amazing. That would be a dream come true. But the main issue is funds. There's lots of other things that we need to get fixed in the house first, and greenhouse is going to be kind of low on that priority, and they're very expensive if you want to get a nice one. So that's kind of on hold for a good few years likely. And for the time being, we're just going to focus on trying to get the garden to look a little bit nicer, but mostly the channel is going to still remain on growing at the allotment. And I think that's fine. I mean, we're loving having this space still, and we had our first night out here yesterday with a few drinks after spending the day in the garden, and it was divine. I feel so incredibly lucky to have it, and it's wonderful. It is so nice now that the sun is coming out and we can finally start to use the garden. But I'm going to have some breakfast, maybe another coffee, and we'll go along to the allotment and see what's going on up there. Okay, so, oh my god, I've just arrived and I'm hiding in the greenhouse in the hopes that it will shelter you from a bit of the noise. It's like a party down here today. The atmosphere is insane. I've never seen it so busy. My eyes are watering from the hay fever. There's machines going off left and right. Everyone and their dog is down here today. So I'll have a quick tour around. Hopefully it won't be too noisy and you can kind of see what it looks like at the moment and what I need to get started on. So starting with the beds, I mean these are all pretty much as I left them. They're covered over with cardboard, which seems to be doing a nice job of suppressing the weeds. It doesn't look pretty. It does not look pretty, but it's okay. You can see the kale has come out now. I've been kind of hoeing this over because I ran out of cardboard and it seems to be doing okay. Looks a little bit messy where there's still some dead leaves in here, but that'll all be incorporated. The chives still down here, surviving, doing okay. The rest is still covered over. The broccoli is doing fantastic at the moment. It's harvesting season for this one. Posted a nice picture on Instagram just yesterday having harvested all this and it's really nice. I've never properly shown you in here in detail, but we've got quite a few plants. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 6 plants in here and they're all doing really different things at different stages. The growth up that end is just so much more vigorous, and over here we have our wind-blown specimens looking much sadder and much slower to put out any flowers as well. The ones up the end, we have this one, which has a much more compact growth with loads and loads of flowers on it. I'll probably take another harvest today. And then we move over to the left and there's kind of 3 that have all grown into each other. I've had a few harvests off these, but this one in the middle is so hard to show you because of the netting. But this one is just pure vegetation. It's like it's had way too much nitrogen. I've not actually seen any flowers on that. One over to the left, a few flowers, one over to the right, a few flowers, but then this bush is really going off. But this is just great. There's some over here as well because it means I can get lots and lots of kind of successional harvests. This one's got quite a nice big head on it. And I mean, the plants are just huge. These are some really big broccoli plant. And it's because I got these in really early. I think they were in the greenhouse from April and then went into the ground in May. And they've just done so well. The strawberries are just looking incredible. They've put on loads and loads of bushy growth. That's the alpine strawberries. The older ones, the bigger traditional strawberry, not so much growth, but they're looking okay. I'm sure they'll bounce back soon enough. It's quite stop-starty today because I have to keep stopping because of all the machines. Hopefully you can still hear me. This is a mini bed at the side of the greenhouse. I've kind of dug it over and pulled out the borage. It's looking pretty gnarly, but we'll top this up with some compost and get some more stuff in here later on in the season. The next thing on today's absolutely whistle-stop tour is the apple trees. The good news is I did finally get in time just before this lovely warm weather, just before these things started to bud, and gave them quite a severe prune. They're still pretty thick, pretty unruly, not what I would like. But hopefully, as time goes by, you know, you have to be careful that you don't take too much off of these at once. And you can see there's a few sort of piles of this stuff lying around the brash. But hopefully, over time, we can get these looking a little neater, a lot more air inside. Hopefully, we'll create some healthier trees. Oh, I suppose as well, I should mention the failed bramble experiments. It might be a little bit too soon, but I think it's fair to say that neither of these have taken. Down here, we tried replanting the sucker. And over here, we tried the tip layering. The one that I pruned, looking pretty good. Not putting on any new growth yet, but it's still so early in the season. Okay, so I mentioned there was one job in particular that I wanted to get done at the allotment today. I think I did anyway, and that is fitting a downpipe and the end stops to the guttering. You'll remember this greenhouse was picked up for free. I have no idea what manufacturer it is. It's very weird sizing, actually. And I don't know. I picked these up online and it's not surprising that they don't quite fit, but it's quite close. So a little bit of adaptation for the end stops and that'll be fine. The issue with the downpipe is that it's not at all flexible. So to position this in place will be okay. This one nearly slots in, but I'm gonna have to move this back and it's gonna be very close to the glass, which makes me a little bit nervous. And for the other side, there's no room for this. So I'm gonna have to build some kind of support or something. And that will probably keep me occupied for a little while, but wish me luck. Oh my goodness, in an uncharacteristic streak of luck, this bit actually fits in perfectly on this end, and the end stop fits perfectly in the other end as well, which is unreasonably fortuitous. It does need a little bit of sealant or something like that, but I can bring that in another day. The issue is now moving this back without getting it too close to the glass and potentially damaging it. Well, it's not perfect, but the butt is leaning away from the greenhouse. It looks like it's on fairly sturdy ground. This is all in, like I say, it needs a bit of sealant, but I think we've got a gutter. Now I've got to do the other side. I still can't believe how easy that side was. Actually, I thought it was going to be a real mare. This one, however, is definitely going to be a real mare because I wasn't thinking very far forward when I put this miniature bed in. It should be okay, we can probably work around it, but I'm going to have to build something in order to get the water butt, which is around the other side. I'm full of water. Just stand here and be safe. In fact, I think in here it would come out into the path and probably be in the way a bit, so I'm probably going to try and put it over there. And I think the water runs this way, so hopefully those end stops are watertight. Otherwise we'll just have a big old leak over here. Okay, here is water butt number 2. Now, I've just had a thought, right? I could fart around for ages trying to get this up to the right height and in the right place back here, right up against the greenhouse. Which is going to be tricky anyway. Even when we've got this at the right height and this is in, it has to tilt at an angle. And this will not go in because this attachment for the gutter is very square. So I think what I'm going to do is basically use this end and put some kind of different pipe on it, a bit of hose pipe or something like that, and try and get that secure. Perhaps this blue pipe might do the trick. This is the stuff that I normally use for the brassicas. I doubt it will fit, but then again, I'm not sure. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, it fits and it's like perfectly tight as well. I tell you what, I must have done a good deed recently because I'm getting some good luck today. I think this might work. Oh, what a day. What a good day. Right, I'll get this cut to size. Oh, and we'll test it. Okay, I did think it was going a little bit too well. I have just realized that this one, because of its small lip, you can't actually put a watering can into the top of this one, and ideally it should be raised so that we can get a watering can underneath. I've just got to move the existing plastic base. It should be fine, everything will be fine. It's gonna be great, guys. Okay, so this is the area where we're working in, and the stand is okay in here. I think it just about fits between the sleeper and next door's timber, but the ground is really uneven and there's a bit of an issue with the soil under this sleeper being undermined. So I'm going to try and build this up a little bit. Here we go, nice and easy putting this soil in, just needed a little bit more at the back. Now hopefully, I mean this stuff is full of stones, which is quite handy actually because make it that bit extra stable. Ta-da! Now we've got a nice base. It's pretty good, isn't it? It's going pretty well. I just need to get this on now and get the blue pipe done. It does literally just push in. It's not probably the best, but I'll come back up with a bit of glue. I've got to seal the other bit anyway. This stuff flexes okay with a bit of force. I think we should be able to get that in. We're ending up with too much of an angle. I'm tempted to try and cut a piece out of here, but I'm not sure it's the best idea. It's not happening. I'm gonna cut a piece out. I'm sure this is a good idea that I won't regret. Moment of truth time. Oh, I still don't think it's gonna be enough. You know, what I could have done is drill through this part that's designed to be drilled through, couldn't I? That would have been a great idea. Well, oh, why am I like this? Look, I didn't bring a drill. I'm not a clever man. Sometimes you've just got to commit to the mistake. Hopefully, it'll all come good in the end. But it's fine, it's fine. Oh, that's gonna work, isn't it? I think that's it. After all this, I think once that's in, we're finally there. You know what I think I say the most on this channel? It's not pretty, but hopefully it will work. And with the old lid, look at that. Like a glove. Look at those cuts. They look like they were made for each other. Absolutely butchered it. Right, let's go in the greenhouse. Oh my God, it is so nice being in here. I can't believe it's February. It's so warm. And just coming in the greenhouse on days like this, it really makes all the stress of those early episodes worth it. Oh, it's so, so nice. Anyway, I've got an absolute boatload of seeds. Lots and lots of new seeds out here, as well as the old seeds from last year. So I'm going to be having a look through that this afternoon, deciding what to plant, sowing my first seeds, but that's not for today's video. I'll show you what I've sown another time. For now, let's go back home and have a look at the chili seeds under the new grow light. Let's see how the propagator worked and whether or not the germination rate was any good. See you there in 1 second. So here we are, back home with the chili seedlings. I've got such a smile on my face because I'm quite happy with how this has gone, to be honest. I think this is a pretty good start to the year. Today marks exactly 1 month since I put these in the ground. So I've waited until the day before I upload this video because I thought it was quite a nice kind of, just a milestone for the plants. And there's two things to talk about really, their germination and the initial growth. I'll start with the germination, which has been fantastic. Hopefully you can see there's a pretty decent number of plants in here. For the most part, we've had really good germination, apart from 1 or 2 species, which are a little bit tricky anyway. The only ones that we've had trouble with are this one, the spaghetti pepper, which was one that I harvested the seeds from, wasn't particularly hopeful for, and we have exactly 0 germination in here, but that's fine. One which I'm really, really excited about, which I mentioned in my last episode all about these chilies, is this one, which is the mystery pepper. And I planted quite a few seeds for this, maybe sort of 8, and we've got 1. We've got 1 seedling. This is like a mystery cross, like the nicest pepper I've ever tasted. Really, really excited to see how this goes. The other one, which has been very tricky, but we've had great success with, thanks to the propagator, is the CGN 19198. We've got 2 plants out of 3 seeds, which is really good. And the third might yet still germinate. These can take up to a month. My first one came after 18 days, which is really, really good. And the other one, which we've had no success with, is the Cupertino White, also known as the rubber nipple. Amazing. We've had 0 success in that one. So I think with that and the spaghetti, it's just bad seeds. It happens sometimes. Everything else has been near enough 100%. I only planted 1 seed. That one of the Reaper Dougalas didn't come up, and I think that's literally it. Everything else, 100%, you can't complain. Let's talk about the grow light though. Now, you should have already noticed that we have some extremely leggy seedlings to be dealing with, which is not ideal. The leggiest ones are the ones that germinated first, and I think that this isn't so much an issue with the grow light as it is user error. I think I had the grow light way too far away from the plants at first. I followed the manufacturer's instructions, had them about 30 centimeters, and I just don't think it was enough. So I started lowering the light, and now you can see the ones that have been subject to the proper light levels are much lower, much more compact growth, and this is kind of more what we want to see from this Reaper in the corner here. And we've sort of got a mix where some of them are quite leggy, but some of them are quite nice and compact. And the leggy ones we'll just plant extra deep when it comes to repotting these. I'm sure they'll bounce back. This definitely isn't the end of the world. They could be a lot worse. So there we go, a super quick look around the garden and the allotment today. I finally got those water butts done as well after a year of saying I would do it. And it was just quite nice, I think, to have a look at these chilies exactly 1 month on. I'm really happy with how they've come along. Hope I didn't come across too negative. I think all things considered, this has been a really, really good start, and I'm so hopeful for the rest of the year. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. As always, please remember to do all the YouTube stuff if you did enjoy it, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. The issue is, this is like a whole sleeper too low, and why is it so noisy today?